Chair.
Oh, I have two people now.
And it didn't go.
Sharon, where do you want to sit?
None of the hat on the table.
Yes,
Anything left?
right in the middle.
Want to come sit? I'll move over.
Right up front.
There's thanks.
Yeah, that's a little expired now. Yeah, because you didn't pick up your mail.
Who's in this room would know.
I'm not real good at this.
What are the very
We'll hear it
large
anyways.
bold letters? What does that say?
Please print.
Address? Says this,
Nobody printed.
I printed.
nobody printed.
I printed.
I printed.
That's printed. Pat printed, good job.
Randy printed.
Randy, yours is-
I definitely didn't write.
Put it back, Steve's coming.
Oh, Steve's.
Don't say anything.
just want to be able to read it.
All right, well, I'll start it, I mean, we're 6 o'clock, so I'll call this to order. Really, the only thing on the agenda is I think everyone knows the city tried to negotiate with Tom Opatz on the sale of the Washburn Court building, and we weren't able to get anywhere. I mean, we can sit and go back and forth for the rest of the evening on what happened, I don't think it's worthwhile. So the question is, what's the library board's recommendation on how the city proceed? Do we look at some of the other sites that were looked at by the NDSU students? I think the fire hall was sort of the top contender there. Is that something we still want to consider? Steve, we can find you a seat. Okay. Do we want to do that? Otherwise, I mean, there's the eminent domain option as well, if we just want to look at the empty lots there behind Washburn. But what does, I mean, because I wanted to hear from the board on what the recommendation is on how you want to move that forward.
I honestly think that the Washburn Court site is the best site for the library, so my vote would be for eminent domain.
Okay. I'll admit that's where I'm at as well.
Yeah,
Better than the fire hall?
yeah, better.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in. I like the fire hall because it's close to the school.
I agree.
And we do have, there's kind of been some movement to add a fire hall over towards the ambulance garage, so that would be a city-owned lot already. Is it big enough?
What's the square footage of that lot? That would be a good thing to
So,
know.
one thing to consider with that lot and what the students designed for, it actually included the fire hall plus another lot next to it. My concern is that the students didn't necessarily design to the full requirements, and the building that we actually need may not fit. It's more restrictive there.
Yes.
So if anything comes up during design development with the architect, it could be that our library doesn't fit there.
Could we pursue that at all? I mean, those are some questions that need to be
Well, the easiest
addressed.
thing is what's the square footage of the lot? Because you need lot and drainage, and if
Because we
it's only an
definitely-
8,000 square foot lot, it's not gonna work.
And we need parking
And parking.
and green space is what we're also.
Well, we kind of talked the old, and this is really old Pontiac garage,
The ones that
which is
Steve
now
and
owned
Donald.
by
Steve and Don,
Donovan and Steve, could be available in the near future.
Is that on the backside of that same area?
it's right next to the parking lot, on the street.
Why do you think that would be available?
I think they'd probably work with us. I think they're, well, probably at the point where they aren't using it like they did 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, they're my age and older.
Yeah.
It's also, it's the same distance from Lake Avenue as Washburn is, right? So as far as like, I'm thinking of logistics, it's not necessarily downtown, like the Washburn one would be, by the light, which is nice also.
It's also close to the park, right? It's got the school and the park.
That's true.
I think location-wise, I liked that one. I'm just thinking back to when we went to NDSU. It seemed like that was really constrained in terms of lot utilization and what we
And
could
they
do.
actually had more of a lot than really exists. at the time, because it was a mistake when it was formed out there, so when they were having trouble. There wouldn't be enough for parking, green space in the building.
You wouldn't need any green space to speak of, because you have the park right there.
Well,
One house away, it's
Well,
just,
building, so you can go right out the library up to do something.
But at that other access spot,
The fire hall is gonna be pushed back for quite a while, isn't it, Sean?
I mean, therein lies the other rub with that.
Yeah,
is that-
we
Yeah.
have
how
to.
long is that gonna take? Are we looking at 10 years before the
No.
fire hall is built and then?
We can't wait that long for the fire hall, but,
I would say 5.
yeah.
You're not probably gonna get the grant first round, but you have a really good
Yeah.
chance the second.
The
So
best bet
that's
is
3 to
still
5
those-
years.
The best bet is still those lots there then.
To what?
The best bet would still be those lots there.
Yeah,
Well,
You mean in Washburn? Yeah.
yeah.
So you say lots, or is it just one lot or two?
There are two
It's
lots,
two
plus
lots.
the third one that Len Gilmore owns.
But, and those two lots are like, I tried to measure it on Google Earth, and it looks like they're 150 from the street to the alley, 150 feet, and they're a little wider than that. That those alone would be enough to fit the building, you'd need the extra parking.
on that note, when you say eminent domain, that would mean, who owns that
Tom,
flat?
Tom Opitz.
it's part of the
Yeah, right now
Washburn
it's
Corp.
Cora that owns it.
Yeah, I've heard it's been sold.
Yeah, it hasn't been sold.
It's been sold. He no longer owns
The building has been sold, the lots are not. They're still with Tom.
What's
Okay.
been sold, then, Steve? The building?
The building.
itself?
But then the eminent domain would be just for that lot behind.
Two lots.
It's kind of a win-win, because the city didn't know
Well,
what
did-
to do with the building. if
Did
we
the lots go with the building or not?
don't know that.
As far as I don't know, they're not part of
Okay.
it.
It may be a moot point.
Because Mr. Lawyer can, what kind of funds is eminent domain gonna cost?
Don't know.
And time.
That's
It's
an
gonna be
unknown.
A while.
Yeah, and what does it?
I mean, there's no extra money to begin with,
It's
in my
gonna take,
opinion.
it's a process. It
Yeah,
could take a
it could
while.
take
It
3
could-
to 10 years
It could take a
too.
while.
That won't happen overnight.
No,
Then you gotta weigh the cost of the eminent domain versus, a new fire hall.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking millions already.
well, not
We can
millions.
still
probably.
wait and see if there's an option for a lot swap. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll change his mind.
Well, if he sold the building, he may be more cooperative on
Sure.
what we're trying to do.
Pretty definite, maybe. it's
But if
over.
he sold the building with the lot, now you got a whole new can of worms.
Well, once the transaction closes, it'll be public record and we can find out what it is, but at this point.
Yeah, it has not closed
So-
yet.
Do we have any other options?
I mean, the other two sites that the library group looked at, the old G&T Foods, why am I blanking on the Catholic Church? The Catholic Church, that's right.
And that's not available.
That's not available.
And
Neither
then-
one is really available.
The G&T Foods was even more restricted than the fire hall location was. I know we've talked about it, I don't think the students did it though. But that, I mean,
Is the G&T lot big enough? Can you take that building off?
I think they could get a decent sized building in there. I'm trying to download all of their
Be
plans.
able to do it because, of the street parking,
That's right, that's what it was.
yeah.
Because there's not really any other commercial stuff down there, the locker plant is it, and there's not, it's not a congested parking area in general.
Well, that, and because of the city code, you don't need any on-site parking, it's all street parking there, because of how it's zoned.
But there probably would be, because it's a good sized, that's a big building. It's probably 10,000 square feet or more.
Regardless of the building size or how it's zoned, you don't need street parking there, or you don't need it off-street parking there.
No, but we would have. It would have. Just wouldn't have any green space there.
How much parking do you really need? If you have an event like for small kids and a lot of mothers come, is there,
We had 43 that came to Bristol, okay, on Monday.
but they didn't probably all drive, but you
They
could
did
have.
actually, because they had to go to
Okay.
school, we moved it. It was at the park first. but-
And it's like when we've had author visits, you've got 50 adults in there, so that's 50 cars. Well, unless they drive.
Well, it'd be 25.
Where in the world they all park, you know?
All over the place.
Wherever they
Well,
can.
there's, that whole 2 blocks is open at certain times.
Main Street, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got very
In
little
the
parking across the street
evening,
though.
there's more space available.
I'm gonna throw something out here that is just way off what we've all been thinking. The city owns that whole stretch by the ambulance garage, correct?
By the way,
By the ambulance garage?
I was just thinking the same thing, Joe.
What if you put a city facility plus maybe the library out front and fire hall back by the ambulance garage? Is that too dangerous again?
That's got horrible walking score if you.
You almost have to have the ambulance, the fire department right by the road, Lake Avenue, for fast.
For when they come out, in and out, which is a good spot for them because it's
Yeah.
a wider road.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought I'd throw that
I-
out there.
But along this somewhat similar vein, something we've talked about in the past and haven't discussed lately, if the library took this building,
Is this big enough anymore?
or we rule that out based on refurb costs?
What's the square footage of this building?
We had that once.
It was in the sweet spot.
8,000, 6, yeah, somewhere in there.
Well, that wasn't, at the beginning,
No,
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
thought.
the old things.
That's where the library used to be.
Yeah, in a 2-story building with a basement. Remember that? City Hall was in the basement.
Parking is bad here.
Well, we all use it, and then there is the street. I mean, we got, what, 10 parking spots out there?
Which
It's
is-
not fabulous, no,
There's 6, 8 behind, but, yeah. It's
which
not-
the staff would use the back.
You're talking then move City Hall with the ambulance area,
Or wherever.
and it's far out.
Steve, you might have an answer for this one. What about the Centricare building that's there? That's a nice building. Are they, they've got lots of ideas going with the hospital now.
You're talking
Which
about
building?
Lake Avenue,
Like they're
the old
building.
training clinic.
I think we talked about that, I think that they want to keep it.
Okay.
Very.
It keeps the
Yeah.
headquarters for the
I
administration.
think right now, isn't it some of their ambulance
Yep.
people sort of use that facility for their staffing 24/7? I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I think, now that you say that, they've got sleeping quarters and stuff in there.
Yeah,
They have
and
it in the
use
ambulance
for
garage
surge
too, though.
stuff as well.
We built it with that.
Crossing Lake Avenue. Lake Avenue is busier than this highway.
Yeah, yeah.
And at least you have a stoplight here for kids on bikes.
That's why I like it down
Well,
here.
and that's why we ruled out that area, don't remember across the Avenue.
Because we talked about even D&D now that it's closed, buying that property,
But
Yeah,
it's the
across Lake
traffic
Avenue.
there.
Which one was that?
D&D.
Bad traffic.
recycling.
Because right across the street from there is Midwest Machinery,
Well, right next to
and
it.
they don't own that building. It's the only building that Midwest Machinery does not own. They're just leasing
Right,
it.
Harlan still owns it.
Yeah, so that may be an option down the road. Highly unlikely, but it's just.
It would
one to
be
kick around.
expensive.
But
I know
then
when-
kids are crossing that.
Yeah, that's the problem. You'd have to have a crosswalk
Yeah,
and
you would.
lights and everything.
Lights or something. It's been getting busier and busier and busier with kids on bikes and walking, and we just have seen a,
You know, I'm brainstorming, kind of going against what we just said, but the city owns all that residential, some residential, it's got all behind there. Would the addition of a library there actually be more attractive for a developer to come in there and build some homes? And sort of have another part of, have more people walkability. We'd have to figure out how it worked. But I'm just brainstorming. Could you use strategically one investment to encourage more investment? I know, I'm thinking
on the
of,
park there too.
yeah.
That's a good idea. I like it.
I think as, to attract people in, which I think you're trying to do something, well, just giving it away. I would be more, if you had services there, families, it's gonna make it much more desirable for development. So, just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Well, the most feasible thing most economic thing would be to put it on land the city already owns.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, for us to buy land, it's gonna bring up the cost.
Absolutely, so it's gonna, and there's plenty of space there, you know, you could do kind of a planned development, strategically place a library, it's gonna look a lot at first, but again, as the city grows that way, and with the Ampey addition and all that stuff, you know, Pat, you are so nice.
Be in your backyard,
walkable
Pat.
location.
It worked for me.
I love that idea, and I think we need to look into it further. The one stumbling block that I think we need to investigate is if we can without spot zoning. Because we can get into trouble if we get into spot zoning issues.
What is that, Sean?
So it's like if you just have a big residential area with an industrial or a commercial or something, just a one-off lot.
Wouldn't a library kind of fall under like a church?
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm
I think
thinking
there's
it
gotta be an
probably
exception
would,
to make
yeah.
it work.
It's all
But-
service. That's-
Yep.
It's service for many different.
Yep. No, I think there's got to be a way, but we just need to make
I'm
sure.
looking at these other things. They're gonna take 5 to 10 years. I'd rather put, if we have 5 to 10 year time horizon, I'd like to put it in the most ideal spot. You know, that you could build around it and it'd be, I think it would give us a lot of ideas.
Not that it matters to me, but what about all this, it has to be downtown, it has to be downtown. We heard that, we heard that.
I know
we
you heard that a lot, yeah.
So, you know, can we change that? I mean, I think the fire hall is close enough to downtown, which it wouldn't interfere, but I think the lot's too small. And by the time the city gets a
New fire department.
fire hall, and then can they afford a library after that, and it's gonna be delayed, it's not gonna be 5 years, it's gonna be longer than 5 years, I guarantee it.
If you put it, yeah, if you put it where the fire hall's going, it's at least 5 before we would break ground on a library.
Oh,
Because,
how about, you know, what Quonset is, Steve and Donna and that?
Mhm.
Has it, if anybody talked to them and said, we'd be interested in doing the library there, and then there's that empty lot next to it. I don't know who owns that.
It used to be a gas station, so there was something. It's on the corner.
Well, it's not, that's not next to it. There's a street in between.
It's-
Yeah, there's Cronus Avenue.
Yeah.
Steve Whitcomb's place?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then there's a
there's a-
street, and then
there's
there's a
an old-
house, and then.
Yeah,
There's an open spot next to it though.
That's the
it'd have to be behind.
are you talking the one right on the corner by the school, Mary?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the city's, it's part of the fire hall.
Okay.
That's part of it.
That's where the firefighters park.
Would there possibly be enough room if you took that Quonset hut that Whitcomb and Mayor own?
And then
With
right,
the city-owned lot, and then someday when the when the fire station is gone, there'd be more room to build parking or green space on, so you kind of do it in phases.
But for now, that's where the firemen and firewomen
They park.
pull in.
Yeah, that's their parking lot.
Yeah, so until the fire station goes, you can't.
You know, you can't really lose that because when they come rolling in, it's,
Middle of the night.
Get out of the way.
Well,
well,
the
they all,
street is not good.
anybody know, all I've heard are 4th, 5th hand rumors, so I don't wanna put credit in them, but anybody know what Stings are planning on doing with the house?
Oh, next
Just to
to
the south of the fire hall?
station.
Oh, between them and Gazebo Park.
Yeah, it's the only house between there.
Yeah, it's the only house there.
I mean, I've heard rumors that she's planning to move, but like I said, it was 4th and 5th hand, so I don't put weight in it.
You do have a little,
Ask Bruce, he would.
Right,
you've got the little, the.
Is that big enough?
You got the splash pad, you've got your park.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, it's a good-
It's smaller than the fire.
Kind of an odd shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's big enough.
but I was just
It's
thinking if
about
we
a third
could,
of the
no, no,
size
to
of the fire hall.
put it together for the whole complex.
Yeah, you don't want it for the whole
How
thing.
about if you could get that, turn that into parking for the firemen, and then you have that other open space.
That's true, yeah.
You do it that way, and then when the fire hall comes, you tear that down and you got parking for patrons.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's a
It
good
could
idea.
work.
It could. But you have to find out if they want to sell
Yeah, you're gonna have.
You know, we're talking,
$400,000.
it. Yeah, buying that and tearing it down.
Yeah.
well, that house is good enough to move.
Oh, yeah, Anderson will come in and just
Yeah,
move it off.
he'd probably even pay a little for it,
Yeah, that's true.
enough to,
It's a nice house. She's kept it up nice.
yeah, I don't know that the economics make it worthwhile, but as we're spitballing ideas.
It almost leads to those empty lots, where there would be no retrofitting or construction, demolition or moving or, reconfiguring an existing, spot, where this one here, you could go right from the ground up and do it the way you want to do it without having to worry about any other problems that may come along with it, because there usually is some sort of hitch that comes along the way.
There was at one time talk about trading some land for land over by the gardens, because he desperately needs some parking over at the nursing home. So is that still on the table?
We'd be open to it. Tarek last talked through the attorneys, and said if something comes in writing, we'd consider it, and we haven't seen anything back. We did send over a purchase agreement with that language, and it was refused at that time.
So, the lot behind the ambulance garage, how far does the city own? Does it go up to like Morningside?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that corner right there almost feels like a good
And all the way to
potential spot. You get Sunrise and Morningside.
That's a large area.
It is really large, all the way from 34 to Morningside.
So you got South Street, you could access, Morningside, you could access, put the library right there on the end of those two streets in that corner.
Yeah,
And
Would
then
that-
you're close-
That would still be
you're
zoned-
close to
that'd be zoned
Farm,
commercial,
you're Close to where Steve was talking about. You wanna put residential housing in there anyway at some point?
Tarek, would that fit? I know you've been talking to developers, they're not looking at the whole thing though, right?
No,
So wouldn't access from Morningside be a lot safer towards the ambulance garage versus coming off of Lake?
Yeah, you'd have both Sunrise and Morningside.
Yeah, so you
for
could
the
have,
library,
yeah, for the
Still
library.
have to cross.
because that
Well-
Awful Lake is a private right now for the
Yeah.
ambulance.
You're still gonna have to cross Lake Avenue.
Or you can come in through,
I live on South Street, it is a very busy street.
Yes,
Very
it is.
busy.
People use it to kind of
This way, you
The whole section which is growing.
like those sidewalks there.
but it's gotta be less congested than,
Lake Avenue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we can do things,
We
I
can
mean,
put
we
a
can put a
path.
sidewalk in.
Yeah, we could put a walking path or a bike
There is
path.
sidewalk on South, but not on,
Right, so we could do that, or we could put up different paths. And on Lake, I'm sure we can work with the county to get
Maybe a little
whatever.
bit better lighting, I mean, there's things you can do to.
There are things we can do, yeah.
Well, of the
and then this is
back
where
ones.
they.
That's not a bad idea.
the one, yeah.
It's something that could be actually accessed and done pretty fast. Faster.
And there's a water
And
sewer
then
right
that,
there.
you
You
know,
know-
by the ambulance garage would be a great focal point for expanding that area. Because remember, we got that 13 acres back there.
realistically, this whole library thing is hinging on a grant, correct?
Would be a, like
Yes.
Steve was saying.
But we need to have plans, a location before you can even
Right,
apply.
mean-
right, they're pretty good to work with, we went to Howard
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
and the
Especially if
city
you got two
administrator
acres.
was just very,
I can share it on
I
here.
mean, we're talking time, the grant's 2-3 years
Let me
old.
just confirm, but I don't think there is.
No?
it's a
No,
bit-
you can apply anytime.
You just have to have a spot.
USDA Rural Development Grant.
Right.
Okay.
Searching it, that's how we're making used,
Nick was so positive about it.
Some of the other ones we looked at, a while ago, were like every 2 years, but not.
And we meet all the requirements, rural community, less than 16,000, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah, a town that has.
Right there.
very positive.
Yeah.
And that's a 50/50 grant?
No,
No, I think they're, what is their library, it was like 6-7 million, and they're getting.
Almost 7, yeah.
Almost 6 million from the USDA.
Wow, that'd be
Oh.
awesome.
I did it, skip over page.
but it really changed.
I thought it was 50/50,
No,
I
no,
thought,
that was the education one. But the really good thing about this is a chance for the city to really say, we're investing in this community.
Oh, yeah.
We want to show off a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not just, let's dream.
Yeah, the biggest problem's been just finding a location.
Tarek, I mean, you've been talking to developers, do you think to have like a library, this would be a positive, neutral, or is it?
If it doesn't take away from their land that they wanna build on, it'll be positive for them.
I would think it really would be, because it's apartments and things, so,
Is it low income apartments?
no. Marketplace apartments.
So if it were to go next to the ambulance garage, I would probably be a better fit as a buffer between like development and the ambulance garage instead of having the,
We don't want it next to the, it's be
What
behind
about-
right behind it.
it. Yeah.
What about that piece, does Dr. Drayling still own that?
Yes, they still own that
You
piece.
think he'd sell it for a library?
Is that
Is the library
behind
lower,
where
right?
the Central Care building is, does he own something?
Right
He
right
did.
next to, you can tell when they mow, that's always a little different, because it's not city, so we don't know it.
They still own that.
It's the best way to describe it.
Only Neil will notice that.
I know his health
Like-
isn't
Well,
good,
good for you, at least.
neither one of them,
Yeah, I
It's
would
not
have
like
never
there's a
known.
house on it, it's just a lot, right?
right?
How big is that lot? Do you have any idea?
No.
It's a visible spot
Yes, I think
for
that's
people.
nice.
And I will have to say Lake Avenue is so well, as far as the speed, the Cutco Park, fast.
But it's, walkability is very poor for, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
because you gotta cross Lake Avenue, that's a
And I'd
concern.
rather see crossing there. It's a bad idea to have a crossing where the ambulance people come in the driveway. Because on an emergency run, they're coming in there at 40.
Yeah.
And a kid on a bike wouldn't have a chance.
Be close for you.
Where if we go with the existing crosswalk and get some flashing lights and different things,
I guess I wouldn't make crossing Lake Avenue some requirement, because I grew up on the east side of Lake Avenue.
Right.
And we had to cross Lake Avenue. It's a matter of put a darn crosswalk in there that's gonna be effective. Because if I live in Pomeroy and you put the library where you wanna put it, I gotta cross Lake Avenue. So, one way or another, somebody's crossing Lake Avenue.
Yep.
You gotta think about putting an effective crosswalk in there.
And that probably will slow traffic too.
Yeah.
Which is an issue, why you got the speed limit thing there, but if you had that established crosswalk, that's just gonna be a natural deterrent for
Yep.
going 40 miles an hour on the.
And your housing development is going east way anyway.
It is. There's a lot
So
of
you
development
put the
going
library
on.
on the west side, you're gonna have all that have to cross it, so one way or another, someone's crossing
Crossing
it,
Lake-
so I would
yeah.
say that's.
Again, just thinking out loud,
That
It's
really
gonna
lot's
actually-
a nice sized lot.
but Tarka, if you get a developer over there, those kids are gonna wanna come to school or come to town or
They're gonna go to
whatever.
splash pad, you're gonna have crossing.
So
there
to
anyway.
have, it's only gonna make that more attractive to have easy access to the rest of the community for somebody to come in, homes back there.
And like you said, more sidewalks, more lights, street lights.
Yeah, I think the Lake Avenue thing can be addressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
55, no. You won't sell me on 55.
I'm
But
scared to cross. 50.
Lake Avenue, I think we can,
It's hard
we
enough
can
in a
address
car.
that.
Well, I think you as a city council should consider that, what do you call that development back there? On that, must be.
I don't know if it has a name.
Is it Ampey Park?
Ampey Park,
Wow, but then it's.
But that's the other-
yeah.
Oh, yeah, where was
It's behind the-
Ampey Park
Ampey Park.
South or something like that?
Behind the ambulance garage.
East.
park.
West of it.
But it has city sewer, it has city
Yep,
water,
yep.
it has electric. it has
And the
all
city
that
owns
stuff.
it, so.
It's
Yeah,
got
I mean, so
residential.
the easement's already in.
access. It's close to your park, it's close to where you wanna develop residential.
And there already are a lot of places being built out there.
I mean, maybe Tarek, you should get some feelers out and see, how much see if.
There's a new
that's-
shelter being built there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can move more quickly, hopefully the city can, we don't have to pay for the land, we just got the building costs, and we kind of
That's
put
fine.
greenfield, do it the way we want.
Yeah. It's a big enough piece to do anything you want.
I mean, it's really exciting up there.
Each of the things you just listed is what developers look for. Is there already sewer? Is there already?
You got that right. That's why we sold so many lots over by the Ampey Park.
Over by Pat's house.
Yeah, because they've got the sewer and water.
Yeah.
The developer that's there right now building those houses, he picked us, and he's from like Elk River or something, because it was already ready to build.
Deep Lake.
Big Lake, yeah, that's it. I knew it was somewhere over there.
Gene,
Yeah,
is that platted so that sound can eventually just go straight through this?
yes,
Was that the intent?
yes.
And are we vacating that?
No, but we can.
Here is one of those houses.
Because we're not gonna put a really across the street.
What was your graduating class?
We should vacate, yeah,
Well,
because it is platted,
That's a
yes.
good size for this
Well,
community.
wait a minute, it goes up here though.
We'd like to see it get up to at least 20.
Goes up there.
Bruce came over.
Yeah,
Well, the bigger families are having.
that's right. I
75,
think 34 was gonna come through. They were gonna come off of 34.
biggest ever.
Here, splash pads.
How are the people on Morningside and Sunrise gonna feel about that suddenly being a through street?
Well, I think it's platted for that anyway.
Kids cross.
Yeah, it's gonna happen one way or another. I mean, that's,
To me, like, that's.
They can just be glad they had it as many years as they
But then
did.
again, if you
I
got
think they park
two
the
entrances.
campers and everything on the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so where would we be putting this on this plan?
kind of at the end of Maple. No, at the end of Sunrise.
Randy, show Neil what you're talking about there.
What's that?
Show Neil on the map there, Randy.
I'm hearing two options.
Reference to the ambulance garage.
It's right there. There's the garage.
There's the garage, okay? And,
Here, off of Morningside and.
And on that map, where is-
Street right here, they both end.
put it
Yep,
right
yep.
on the big blank spot.
Right there. So right there.
right in that corner behind,
Yep,
facing this way.
yep.
Yep, yep.
You come off these
work.
residentials, eventually you guys wanted to put a.
So I'm seeing two options. One is right here.
You gotta be looking over your shoulder.
That's fine.
With car access.
Sure.
And then you put a
Yep.
crosswalk right here.
And I think
Yep.
These kids are going
the
across.
other one would be
I just
what I
don't,
heard you talking
I
about.
don't like when your ambulance
Some of these
people on
ones
call.
here.
Yeah, I was just thinking this down
That's-
here, but
Yeah.
those are still
What do you
available, I
think?
think.
As tired as you are.
Most of those aren't available now.
Yeah,
On the same road.
again, to
I think that'd be the best.
encourage development
I don't wanna
here.
be down that road.
And especially if we're gonna get those apartment buildings maybe down.
In that corner,
So let's look at where drainage is.
on the north, essentially the north end of it.
Yep.
So,
And the
could
paper
you
article
almost
made it pretty
extend
clear
that road
that
out
we
then?
can't work with Tumble.
Yeah, right where you
I think we
That's done.
could, we're gonna
Well,
get
he
pushed
kept
back.
playing cat and mouse, so that's it, we're done.
Because right now
Might
they
be a
don't.
better option would
We
be
got too
coming
many
in here.
important things to cover,
Driveway. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they can have their own dedicated. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, take the road from the RV dump, extend that
Yeah,
driveway to here.
and then have some
And isn't
parking.
this where the apartments are, no, this is, yeah, this is where the apartments are gonna go. So they could use this road too.
Yeah, is another access. They
But they
probably
were
put
also,
another
they're
road
also
in
talking
here.
about off of 34.
Yeah.
Yeah, off of
That's
34.
I think it just
that's that
augments it.
big fault, you know.
Because water is already going through there to that,
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Sean Squirrel a little bit. Other way, 34. Yeah, right there.
I think that'd be a good.
Water's already through there because it's a fire hydrant right back there.
Yeah, yeah, so that would be bad, but there's coyote when I cut across there, it's nice and flat.
Well, and with that, you wouldn't have to worry about retrofitting any other building.
Right.
Just go straight
well,
right up.
they can use as much as they need,
Yeah.
because it's all empty, yeah.
But do it with a larger plan in place.
Oh, yeah, we already do, because we know what the
Scale
emergencies
back instead of going the other way.
there, and we already have
I-
housing and apartments planned for down there.
I only got one,
Go
by
ahead.
putting the library out of town is another nail in the coffin of downtown. That's my only concern. We have a lot of people. What are we doing about rehabilitating downtown? By moving the
We've
library?
got space to have the next business.
There's a nice,
Well-
that's a nice building, so.
But is that library downtown gonna change downtown? I mean, it's
Well, you'd have a
chicken and
new,
egg, I think.
nice-looking building in lieu of some of these that are ready to fall over.
If money were no option, I would say, let's tear down that block right across the street from us. Build a spot where New Cara can lease or buy out whatever they need to, and the beauty salon can be in there as well, have a couple of retail shops, and then the rest of it is library and housing.
Well,
That's, if money were no, no object.
you got,
But it is.
you got Tux that is for sale.
Yep.
probably wouldn't take too much.
You got the drugstore that's falling down.
You
So the
could-
demographics.
You can probably get a grant for them buildings like we looked at one time for little or nothing. to
The
tear them
demographics are
down.
still changing because of the highway that came through. Because to tell you the truth, one of the outliers in town right now that we have is the railroad. I mean, nobody uses the railroad anymore to drop passengers off like they did 80, 90 years ago.
But the railroad is busy.
But the railroad is busy, but it would be nicer if it was about 4 miles out of town. But that's, this is progress right now, where the focal point of the city is shifting. Whereas you can see it's shifting out towards 23, and where Quick Trip area is right now and around the school, and away from this area. So it's one of those things that it's a matter of progress and which direction it goes, because a lot of these buildings downtown, yeah, they've been here for a long time, but does an existing business want to move into one of those unless, you know, it fits the motive of, you know, like an antique shop like they have? Or do we want to go to something a little bit more modern to where it's going to be
More visible for one thing.
the focal point, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, what's your vision for downtown?
Yep.
I'm thinking,
Do
I
you want
spend
it
a lot
as a
of,
centerpiece, or do you want, and in hopes that it's gonna create and generate something?
Well,
I
Or are you gonna
spend
put it
a-
up and nothing's still gonna happen and attract?
I spend a lot of time in Sartell, and I don't know if you've been downtown, like, I don't even know where downtown Sartell is.
I don't either.
But their new library and their facilities are all going out into the areas where the housing developments are
Yeah,
going
where
on.
people are.
Especially libraries.
Yeah.
St. Michael did that as well. I don't know if that's a city you want to reach out to, but that was definitely what they did. When they built the new St. Michael Library there was no housing around it. It was just kind of plunked in a field.
And are there houses now?
Now there's developments all around it, big apartment buildings and things like that. So
Which brings more kids into it, more families in.
They moved it more into the neighborhood too.
And with the park there and stuff, it's just gonna grow.
We know, all of us know that Painesville's sitting kind of like a jewel in the prairie. 23 going past, people are looking,
It
but
could
they're
be.
not sure what we have.
Yeah, it could be a jewel.
But good people, that's why I moved here.
Yeah, you remember, Neil, when we did proposal work with folks 7, 8 years ago around downtown
Yeah.
redevelopment, was to take that whole block north now. And, you know, there I think it was pretty close. Really get the developers here, so it need to be shovel ready, and the city would have to
Yep.
invest in taking all those buildings down. And at that time, it was $1 million. It's gonna be more than that now. So to redo this downtown, you're gonna have to put money into it, and that's probably, you know, 1 million plus something, so. That, you know, it's just
Well, there's gotta be some developers out there, just like the guys building the starter homes and the developers we're working with behind John Deere there, that would come in and do that and build a 3-story apartments with maybe some commercial service industry
Daycare.
buildings underneath.
you know, you
And
recall-
maybe even they would put the library on the bottom floor that we could rent.
Just gotta look at the population size.
You know, what we did before, we started with a market analysis that they did. And at that time, there was need for 55 plus housing, about 40 to 50 units in town. That was 7, 8 years ago. That's what you'd have to redo again to make sure that there is the demand for something like that to happen. A lot has changed since then. So, but if you met those requirements, it would be attractive. But you know, we've talked to a number of developers. None are interested as is. No, we haven't done a nationwide search, but I think it's possible, but I think unlikely the way it currently is. That was just from the work we did a number of years ago. And using experts that do this all the time. We don't know, because we don't do that stuff. Anyhow.
Well, that's the only future I see for downtown myself.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we maybe it's that we give up on it and the town's moving on.
But I'm not against putting it out where we've been talking, behind the ambulance garage. If we're need to build in the next 2 years, I think that's our probably only viable option.
Yep, I think it'll be
Because
the
the
fastest.
fire hall ain't gonna be in 2 years.
No,
But is there I worry that there's a safety issue. I'm trying to picture where the ambulance garage is and how they're flying in and out of there.
it wouldn't use that road.
No, here's what we were talking about, Pat, we pulled up the,
You wanna show her that?
yep, just let me get
Put
back
it
to
up
it.
on the,
I
well,
can't.
we need a bigger screen up there.
We tried, but
Oh, I know.
Crystal's
Tarek,
here.
we need to buy bigger
Can
screens.
you
Costco,
I for sure
Can you throw it to
No.
the TV?
No,
Don't have a fire stick?
You can do the HDMI cable.
Oh, I
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
one.
Oh, well, you're so honored.
can't. So here's,
I got the plaque.
yeah, so if you pull up the satellite view,
Plaque right there.
well, we were sort of spitballing.
What is that?
This is the ambulance garage on the
And
driveway.
they go up, okay.
So what if you used the entry here for the RV dump and extended that and ran
Make
it
a
all the
road.
way back, make it a
So
road?
you're talking about sleep
Yes.
That's good library, that's a nice
Commercial,
lot.
that's right across the street from the library.
not the
Well, on the
Drayling
public
property.
website,
No, I know.
No,
What's that?
That is a drainage.
Yeah.
there's already easements down the water is showing.
John, you also have access from Morningside,
Yep,
so they have dual access.
yep.
So you have access from the Avenue 10 from Morningside. You
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm visioning.
Yep,
have to be two.
yep,
This is
and,
a
and,
po- This is a positive move for your voters too. You're
Yeah.
using what you already have,
yep,
Mhm.
putting in new, which USDA grants would love. No monkey book.
You don't have
And
to
it's a
spend money to
residential
buy it,
area,
you don't
which
have
is
to
a
spend money to tear
good
it
thing.
down.
So, my last question,
It's not a youth grant,
my
it's
last.
a loan, I think.
it won't be your last.
The funds that were raised for the library from the
Yeah, Friends of Pink.
gala,
We won't know it.
would that money be available for this system? I know there's some earmarks and some
Yeah, I
people,
think we have to go back and talk.
Is the process
to
rather
everybody.
easy, or just have to redo it a couple?
Well, I think we have to go back and talk to everybody that committed money, then to see if it's still available versus ask.
So I'd say there's two pieces. There's like 90,000 already in that fund, that is available to be granted for.
Which is in our,
It's a. fund
earmarked?
Within the foundation, it's in a specific fund that was put together for the purposes of the library.
Oh my goodness.
That
The
money,
USDA application, yeah.
that money is there and specifically for use for the library. So that's available for granting, immediately. The other is the other commitments that were made around, if a library happens, people would contribute. Those dollars did not come into the fund at this point because it was pending.
so we have to go
pending
back to
action, so you
see
go
if
back
there's
to
still.
those.
I think if there was action like this taken by the city, I think it would be encouraging sign for people to say, hey, let's pony up to help.
well, I know one for sure, that
Yeah, I think it was,
every time I saw, you're not committed.
yeah, it's-
How come, well, we are committed.
We've
We've
said
been
all along we
committed
want to
for
build a library.
a year and a half.
I don't think, committed is the wrong word, because you're committed to moving forward. It's more,
Exploring.
yeah, do you have definitive action that is actually gonna move forward with
Is that
breaking
something we
ground?
need to do now?
It's
It's been a lack of definitive action that has been the hesitation.
When you have, everybody who reads newspaper or whatever, wherever they get their information, right now, they are all wondering, when you take an action like this thing, we're just taking a right-hand turn and we're gonna do this. It's a very positive statement.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well, we thought we had Washburn Court.
Yeah, well, that fell through.
So do we still want to pursue that or just say, no, we're not interested?
I think the positives you need is you're already on the property, there's
Yep.
already water and sewer in there, you're not gonna spend to get utilities in, you don't have to pay for destruction, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
Or
money
retrofit.
that's not gonna have to get spent for acquisition and demolishing, right? That can go towards the
Yeah.
building. right?
Exactly.
That's a very positive.
I don't
For the
think
taxpayer,
we
that's a
wanna buy
positive
that
to me.
property.
wouldn't have to demolish
The
it.
problem is we'd have trouble buying it because of
I think
Yeah.
the biggest rub, like,
behind Washburn Court.
was
Washburn Court building isn't part of the.
Oh, I know, but I mean, there, if you were looking at G&T Foods, if you're looking across
Yes,
the
anything,
street.
yeah.
You got every scenario you talked about, in my mind, you have demolition
Yep.
cost to do it. This one you do not, right?
But we aren't gonna have,
We have a
it's
road
gonna cost
cost,
money to put that road in there.
Yeah, and we might have to run some lines.
but that might be a phase 2.
Well, yeah, initially it could sure come down, but we still will have to get a safe crossing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tari, can we get the deed road grant that we're looking at for the Furchy property for a city street like this?
I
He's
don't
right
think it
in.
is a road grant, but
Whatever, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, whatever grant we're looking,
Infrastructure,
the
is it?
infrastructure.
But you know what we got with the raw land by the ambulance garage, you can also plan for a parking spot there too.
Well, yeah,
You can get
yeah.
15, 20, 30 cars,
Because they
whatever.
have as much room as they
As
need.
much as you need, where right now it's not gonna be confined.
Correct.
And you can put some of those really neat streetlights that go out the other way that nobody ever sees.
Oh,
Bring
take them off of that.
Oh, take them off that.
That looks like such an elegant entry.
Yeah.
Let's take the elegant entry.
Well, that was the plan, it was gonna be a main entrance into town. That
It
didn't
will.
happen.
When we come
It will,
out.
if it ever gets developed.
It will.
What area
Yeah,
we
it
want,
will.
and, just to be different.
Back in the day. that was-
No, but I think what I like about this site
Steal those lights.
is as we're looking at coming off of Lake Avenue and making that more pedestrian friendly, is we can also use it to incorporate our bike trail and put bike lanes right up.
Bike trail, you got the
All
splash pad, you got the school, I mean, all that is right close in there that
Yeah.
can create a very nice
Yeah.
to your
It
park.
sort of integrates the town, you know, that.
And you can park there.
ah,
But you gotta cross the Lake Avenue.
Yep.
Well, we're making
Hey.
a crosswalk.
I have been arguing for a better crosswalk on Lake ever since they moved the carnival out there.
well, now I have
Yeah,
a
the
good reason
carnival
to do
will
it.
be there.
There you go,
much
yeah.
longer.
Oh, yeah.
That's a county, is that a county road? Is it, so
Yes.
a stoplight would probably not.
It's maintained by the county, yeah.
It's a county.
I mean, it could, but I don't know that a stoplight is necessary. Maybe not at least at first.
So flashing.
Yeah, just flashing.
So there's
I
a
wonder-
road by my daughter in Buffalo, that there's a crosswalk there, but there's also, what is it, when it's sun-powered, solar-powered
Yeah.
light that says stop.
Well,
You know,
I'm
lets the people
thinking
cross.
the lights that Great River has over Highway 23, by the library in St. Cloud.
What was that?
The pedestrian
Well,
lights that you have there.
They can activate it, it's not,
You
it's
push the
not a
button.
stop button, they have to activate it to
Right.
cross.
Yep.
That would be really nice. That would make me feel better about crossing that road.
Brandy, do you know who put those in? Was it MinDOT or the city?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's
I
fine.
can, I can try to see if there's a way to find out, I can contact.
We have to contact the county about it anyway.
Lake Avenue is a county road.
Yeah, so we'd have to talk to the county anyway.
66 or something.
Yeah, but it works really.
Well, we
well.
have a commissioner.
I live 2 blocks away.
That's right, we do.
Mr. Jeff?
Well, I mean, this is something where we need his help.
Yep, yep.
Do you have any idea what's going into Washburn Court? We don't, right?
Surely
If it
some
is
kind of
Most likely a silver home, yeah.
housing for the
All
recovery,
silver homes.
recovery people.
No, someone else said that.
Recovery center. And I think somebody,
Is it what I think it is?
people, May doesn't own her buildings.
She doesn't own
A
any
couple
of them.
other people own them and they rent it to her. And she has that lined up for the Washburn Court as well.
That's gonna take a lot of renovating for that.
Well, the guy that wants to buy, he talked to me numerous times. She's gonna close some of her houses,
Yep.
have women on one floor, men on the other floor, and programs on the bottom floor.
Good idea.
Okay, that makes more sense than just adding more people.
And that's good for the town, the houses will either be
Yeah.
for sale or
Well,
for
that's
rent.
again what they said.
Or rentals.
Because it's still a nice building.
Yeah,
Good.
Okay, so,
So what do we need to do if we wanna like propose having it back?
well, let me just ask a couple of clarifying questions to make sure we're all on the same page. Anybody think we should still continue to proceed with getting the Washburn Court lots?
Negative.
no.
Okay. Laura, you were all about it. Have you changed your
I'm
mind?
indifferent.
Okay.
I still think that it is a good location. It's visible within the community and protecting the library. into a new neighborhood, it makes it less visible.
I don't think it's too visible where it's at now. There's not that many people drive downtown anymore.
No, but you have.
They're going to
Someone
look
could
for
drive
it.
by and see it, and it doesn't have a line outside it.
Gee, now you have an opportunity to maybe
Yes.
I mean, I think, and that is, I don't disagree with anything that Laura just said, but certainly if we do that, we need to be cognizant of the fact that we are tucking it away. And how do you do appropriate signage so that people know where it is, so that it is accessible?
So I was gonna bring that up to our friends at the library. There are state street signs that you can get, they're the full sign, it says public library this way, and you can put them wherever you want.
There's one outside the library now.
Well, it's outside the library, but I mean like down more.
On the corner or
Yeah,
whatever,
So,
yeah.
and you can, it's
Yeah.
directional. Yeah.
Well, if we end up with that, Gilmore has been approached or not?
Not for a while, but he knows that.
I mean, I think we could probably work something out with him, especially if he ends up getting the other building.
Of course, then you're talking about buying a bunch of land.
Yeah.
But that could
Our own
be
land.
part of the whole grant, right?
Could be part of the whole grant. I mean,
So, I mean,
The grant doesn't allow you, they don't provide money to buy the land.
okay.
You have to show them where you want it, and then, that's what I thought, Nick. They tore down the old high school to put it
And
in
then
Howard
the land
Lake.
was like donated to them.
Yeah, yeah.
but, I mean, I don't know what Washburn Court would cost if we could make a deal.
If we can
All three
swap
lots.
land, it's not
That
gonna
ain't
cost a lot, but we're still losing
You're still talking
park
about.
land that is of value.
Right now, it sounds like you don't even know who owns the lots.
I'm thinking if we could buy it all, get the 3 lots, what, 150,000 on the top end?
That'd be pretty,
If
that'd
that's-
be sweet.
The nice thing about that, visible, good location, and we don't have to put in a road or a driveway. Because that's where costs get high really, really fast.
Parking, excellent.
Parking is excellent there as well,
Which lots are you talking about?
so.
The two behind
Washburn.
Washburn Court and
Lenny's
Lenny's.
Lenny's are.
Across from the veterinary.
I feel like it's not us picking like one thing here today. It's saying we're gonna explore these 2 options.
Yep, I
Let's
think you're
find out more information, pros and cons on both, and then put it to a vote once we're all more educated on what it looks like
Where we
to
have
go down either path.
actual sizes, you know, because
Yeah.
I still don't, I mean, I tried to measure on Google Earth, so we know the exact size. How many parking spots will this yield, and what will that cost to develop the behind lots of Washburn Court? And what will it cost to develop the, because you have to put a road in the back of that, what is it, well, the Ampey, whatever that
Back of-
city ambulance garage area is. Because the road in there, you need road, you better have 2 roads in and out, because you can't have it dead end into the library.
Could you add a third option if you're going to be exploring some lots? The one next to the business office for Centricare, the one that's railing owns?
Drailing.
Just see how big that is, you know?
Mhm.
Maybe
It's a
they'd like
nice
to
size
donate
lot.
some land. You never know.
Well, I would be willing to call her and ask her if she'd be interested in disposing of the land or gifting it to the library.
Carol?
Or selling it.
Carol?
Yeah,
Be very
Yeah.
nice.
You're better off talking to Carol than you are Roger.
Carol.
It's 1.2
You know,
acres.
Roger was a very big library user. He adored the
And now he's
library.
not very well,
And
so.
he's not.
So they might, yeah, I mean.
They might be willing to sell it, donate it. make some
Visually,
money.
I'd say it's as big as.
Alexander.
1.2 acres it
They just
is.
had somebody donate the 10 acres or
It
whatever.
can happen. You know, when you reach that age,
I move, although we're not official here,
Next
but
to
I move that
Centricare
we
office.
okay Pat to call.
1.2
Draylings?
acres is about-
It's 1.2 acres.
is that what it is?
Draylings is. Yep.
So that is, let's see, what acre is about under 5,000 square feet, like 4,500, so, would you say 1.2?
1.2.
So it's like.
So it's in there.
It's a little small.
45,000 is 1 acre, so, and then another .2.
It's 5,200.
It's too small.
5,200?
Yeah.
we'd have to use some other land with it,
Which one are you talking about?
drailings.
Century
Square
Care.
feet, isn't an acre like 43,000 square feet?
So it's about 55,000.
So 50,000.
So 50,000 square feet.
Oh, that might work.
Is that big enough?
That's a nice lot.
The other thing is, if it's up to Century Care, parking, would it? It could.
No, it's just the offices for the ambulance, basically, that building. They don't, that's about all I know they use it for.
I'm gonna call and see.
Steve's office.
If what?
I'm gonna
What is
call
it?
and see if they're
The
interested
dumping
in
station
this.
on the other side.
Yeah,
No,
yep,
but I will.
yep.
Well, maybe we should concentrate on those two areas and get some pricing and come back and have a meeting in a couple of weeks or a month.
Neil, how hard would it be to move that dump station?
Which,
It's
How hard would it be?
oh,
The trailer dump.
Because it gets backed up. Not as bad as it did when we had the shorter driveway. But there's still some weekends you'll have 4 or 5 campers sitting out there.
on a holiday weekend,
Yeah,
on Sunday night, yes.
What,
Boy,
it
it would,
closes Sundays, right, Katerina?
it would cost money to move it. I mean, there's a lot of plumbing and,
Is there a holding tank there, or is it right into the sewer?
it's into the sewer.
yeah, it's sure.
It's right into the sewer.
Okay.
Well,
And where would you
I remember
move it?
when we put it in.
I don't know. But Kateri just said they're closed on Sundays, so knowing that Sunday's the busy time for it, it's probably a moot point.
That ought to be a Ron
That
question.
Sunday
Yeah,
night.
definitely would
That's a
be.
Ron
Oh, yeah.
question.
So, well, what questions do we need to answer before we come back? Because let's get a
Well, we need a price from Draylens, if they'll.
And if it's
willing-
available.
If it's available, and how much, if they'll sell it.
And then,
And then I suppose we wanna find out if we can deal with what's his face.
Lenny, or.
No, not Lenny, I'm not worried about.
well, we've been dealing with
Opats.
Tom through
Yeah.
the lawyer.
Yeah, he's not gonna sell it to us.
Is
at a
that
reasonable
absolutely
price.
necessary?
He's mad at us, so.
Tom don't wanna deal with us?
No, he doesn't wanna deal with us at all.
I think that, yeah, he's busy, there's a lot going on in multiple cities, and it's a waste of time.
Well, it seems like he is in need of parking.
He's very much in need of parking.
And everybody I talk to say it's a
Yes,
mess.
But.
It's an absolute mess.
Well,
can't
we offered
believe
him what he
when they had
wanted.
it built,
That's true.
the facility
He
with
didn't
no
want to
parking
pay
in
us.
mind.
Every single person I work with is furious right now, and it's only going to get worse.
And think what it's gonna be in winter.
Yes, but that.
That's not our
that's
fault.
not our-
We
that's not our
told him
fault.
we'd sell him a
We
piece
don't
of.
have, we
The
don't have
city's
time to,
Yeah,
it'll just drag out and circle back and drag.
Well, I
out.
mean, we don't have 6 weeks to get an answer, that's what I'm
There's no
coming.
time.
That's about right, too.
yeah, I think it's a waste of our time to try and talk to him.
Well, I don't think it's a total waste, because we kind of both need each other.
Well, and you gotta deal with him, you gotta deal with Lenny, right? You
Yeah.
got multiple parties you gotta deal with if you want to put it.
But you also don't know if those lots were sold.
Yeah, you don't know who
If
actually.
they were, maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
an easier deal to get done.
Actually, if they were sold, we probably would have someone easier to deal with.
We maybe
This
could-
is true.
Whoever bought it, you know, they probably want parking for their tenants.
Right.
So they.
But they probably don't need that whole area, we could maybe give them enough for 20 cars, and then,
I don't know, it's making it kind of
Or share
small.
some parking.
You know where
or share. Well, some,
See, back to Sean's original question, yeah, it would've been great, but it seems like it's a.
No. only a small percentage.
The only other thing is that property behind the ambulance, we would want to get kind of rough prices from Chuck about the roads,
Some very rich.
so we know where we're at.
It'd be nice if they have three locations, cost, timing, you know,
Yeah.
pros and cons, just a little spreadsheet. And so we can compare one for one.
Right.
That's like the third.
All right.
All right,
So, all right, here's what I'm waiting for Tarek, because he's gonna write stuff down.
Oh, boy.
I know.
I think you should look
I mean-
at pricing stuff for the ambulance garage area, what it would cost to
Yep.
get a road in there.
We just said that,
And this would
yep.
be part of a an appeal to a new development coming in, a great expansion for the city, all positive. I
Because
think it's all positive.
Sean,
Can I
you
just
mentioned
clarify
that
when you say get a road in there, where's that road coming from?
The thought over here, looking at this aerial shot, was the south entrance to the RV dump. And
Yeah.
just pulling that back all the way
Oh,
out.
on Answers off of Lake Ave?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And not?
And then, no, we go
Side of-
across to Morningside.
But, you know, would the library be, would that be a part of the library? It's part of a more development, because eventually
Yes.
if you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, you're gonna have to put more roads in.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
almost paying for.
So it's like a phase.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't know if I burden the library with a road.
No,
If
no,
you're-
we
if
just
you're
wanna
just-
know a cost
Right.
before we.
Because you don't wanna put a
It's not part of
road
the
in.
library bill, but
Well,
it has to be
yeah,
done.
that's my
So
concern,
you
that we're
need
gonna
to
add
know.
the roads, gonna be, you know, libraries are gonna cost
Yeah.
$3.5 million, the roads are gonna
No,
cost $1
because
million.
we know the roads go.
You don't wanna put the road in until you know where the fair is gonna be and all
And
that.
then you have to decide if there's gonna be easements with it, with the
No.
water, sewer.
I think we
But
do
just
put a
still-
road in,
But just still
I do
not
too.
phase
We need a
one.
road in there.
because then the fire and everything else has its dedicated drive.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'd have to get,
Be coming off of Lake Ave. You might not get the whole development.
lay it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And then between that road and the
Someday.
ambulance road, what happens to that property? Just green?
So there's a cemetery, you know, that's it. That's-
All right, okay.
Okay, what's?
So here's where we're at. We're looking at
Here.
3 different sites.
Go past it to go into that.
Dark, I think.
Dark, you right in.
Are you taking notes?
We're looking at 3
Stop
different.
talking and pay attention. Ask the question.
I'm gonna get my gavel. So, Targ, we're looking at 3 different sites. We're looking at Washburn, the site behind or next to east of the ambulance garage, and then potentially the Drayling property.
I don't know what that is.
It's the site just south of the city of property, between Centricare and the pumping, and the
Nothing
dump
built there,
station.
it's just they own it.
It's this, they own.
Oh, okay,
this
that's not part of the city
flat
line, okay.
No.
And what's it called?
Drailing.
Railing zone.
And DREYLING.
On the other hand, you said there was a grant for roads?
There might be. So what we would like to know is what are the costs going to be for each of these roughly? Timeline. And then the size of the lots so that we know what we can fit in there.
Well, we know the draining's 1.2 acres.
Right.
And there might just be pros and cons.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so just general things, but.
Pat,
if
you
we-
said you were gonna
This is
call,
your homework, Tarek.
communicate that with
Well,
Terry.
or somebody else,
We
but
don't
these are the
hold-
things we want answered by the next meeting.
By Friday.
No. I already have 2 more meetings this week.
But we haven't had any for a
And
month.
then once we decide
4 in
on
1
the
week, that was a
spot,
bit much.
Oh,
we
that's
gotta
a
get it
good
in
one.
the
Right,
paper
'cause I'll
so
be
we
back
can
here
get
tomorrow
the
night.
people on the fence.
You need to
to
finish.
climb
The downtown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because we all thought we had Washburn sold out. It was kind of made public.
And then Thursday.
There were people on board and all wants
So
food
can I come
and
tomorrow?
paper and so
I'm
on.
the only one from council.
That wasn't a city government.
I mean, as long as there's only 2 of us.
Well, we tried, we're still trying, but
You
it's
tried.
been
Hope
awful
we have our
tough.
hands full.
It's an organizational meeting.
Okay, that's even better.
Okay.
Okay, we got it.
Got it.
Who's gonna do what?
I'm going to
Cats,
try
common
this.
railings.
Okay,
And I'll look at the other 2 for cost wise.
okay.
Well, we need to find out who owns those lots now,
What lots?
behind Washburn.
Yep, Target's gonna do that.
Well, that'd be
Tom does.
interesting, yeah.
He still owns the lots?
He kept them so he can trade with us eventually.
Oh, okay. Well then,
So we know that.
I guess we'll talk to his lawyer again
Missed that.
for the umpteenth hundred time.
Well, I think if he knows it's the last round,
It is the last
I
round.
mean,
He's had how many last rounds though?
Yeah, how many times have we told him?
but now that the facility's open and everybody sees the parking is a definite issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, winter ain't here, wait till winter. If you got problems now, wait till winter.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
When are we coming back?
I thought we were already scheduled.
Do you have another meeting scheduled yet this month for the library group?
not this month. It's
It'll
June.
be next month, yeah.
It'll be July.
July?
So we can keep it
No, I'm
on
busy,
July
that's why.
6th meeting?
Is it on the calendar?
July 16th.
No.
17th or something, isn't it?
I wanna go to Calvin
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks. Yes.
So do you want, does the library board want to
We
consider
have
the pros
one
and cons of
July
these three
16th
and
that was set.
make a recommendation, or
It's
do we
your
wanna get
regular
together
meeting.
again?
Well, I think we need some facts. So you have those, we look at them and.
You could have some facts by the 16th though.
And then ad hoc.
And then, so if you can, the council will take this up at our second meeting in August.
So we don't have a July 16th ad hoc?
You'll have a July 16 ad hoc,
Okay, but
but
this-
then you'll have an August meeting as well, and then the council can take it up at the second meeting. They could take it up at the first meeting in August, but I won't be there. So I think it'd be best if we could just have a full council.
Best wishes for you.
Thanks. So that's why I was thinking second meeting in August would probably be best, just so that all 5 of us are there. Assuming that everybody else can make it, I guess, assuming you all will be there.
Neil's going.
Megan can't miss any now for a month or so. In July.
Why is it me all of a sudden? I only missed one. Everyone's like, you missed two. I'm like, no, I didn't. I was there. I made the quorum. Thank you. So.
Yeah, you did last time.
10 minutes
He
late.
was gone.
Huh?
10 minutes late.
As
Yeah,
part of
that's
the, part of the ad hoc and friendship experience, I do want to thank the city
Time I got
council.
there. So.
Oh,
You guys have gotten on board with us, so thank you.
Big Swan.
Oh, yeah.
Made it a lot easier.
I don't know if we need an ad hoc meeting
Long
for
term.
this, since this is kind of what we're waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
we can
think we
take
should
that
just
off.
reschedule that meeting to August when we can meet together. Because otherwise we can really.
Yeah, because we're just, yeah.
That was my question, is information gonna be sent out, or are we
Right.
getting to a meeting for everyone?
So I will give any
Information.
information I have to
Tara,
Tara,
yeah.
because I think because of open meeting law, you have to be careful how you forward things, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is that true? Yes.
He can send out information to all of us, we just can't
Can't reply.
mess, we
You
can't
can't
reply.
reply, okay.
Yeah.
So I will send messages to him, and then you forward it as is proper for open meeting, okay?
Is that all the information then from all 3 sites we're gonna get ahead of time?
Yeah, I'll see how much I can get. I mean, they're all gonna be estimates probably.
But the library board probably should, or the ad hoc should meet once they have all the information to kind of tell us what,
Yeah.
You
yeah,
prefer-
I was thinking we'd meet all together if it's the same.
before the council meeting though. We don't want to meet at the council meeting.
Well,
Yeah, before.
okay, how much, so if we do 4:30 at the Monday before our next council meeting?
Well, at the next council meeting, do you think
The
we'll have it
second,
all?
I'm sorry, the second one in August.
Okay, I was gonna say the next one's the
So
8th.
Steve, you don't think we need to go over anything in July? We can, it's really up to, it's
Fourth
not
Monday in
our,
August.
I think it's up to the city to
Yeah.
determine a site.
But there,
But we want to know what you guys,
You want
Yeah,
to react to
definitely.
it, but
Yeah.
I don't know what else we have to talk
Yeah,
about.
I don't want to wait 6 years for the fire hall to possibly
oh no,
get that.
No, that's
we know
true.
that. We got some other stuff we have to do too,
It
so.
sounds like, I mean, all 3 sites are acceptable.
Yep.
They have their pros and cons, but, yeah, it's a little more
And I
costly.
think they said what we learned at the last meeting, and Megan and Tarky looked at it, this USDA grant really requires you to have the site.
Yep.
Yes, oh,
Yeah.
anyone would, yeah.
Well, and the easy thing is the one we already own, so we have the site.
Yeah.
so is this what I'm hearing, that the ad hoc is still going to meet on July? No?
No.
No. So
August.
when are we meeting?
Before the council
For the
meeting.
council meeting. in
4:30, the night of the council meeting.
Well, what, give me that date, because I don't know, I don't have that.
26th,
Of August?
August 26th.
Yeah, 26.
Shoot, is that a Tuesday?
no,
That's a
Monday.
Monday.
One day,
Because we have our annual meeting for the museum on the 27th.
27.
27th.
So the 26th at 4:30?
Yep,
Okay? Let's put all that on the calendar now.
Yep.
4:30,
all right. So I would entertain a motion to set another joint meeting for Monday, the 26th at 4:30
so it's a joint.
of August. Yeah,
4:30, the 26th joint meeting.
So when's the ad hoc meeting before that?
Fourth, there isn't one.
We won't have it.
Well, we'll just-
You're not gonna have one.
We're having a joint meeting on August 26th
At
at 4.
4:30. Is there a second?
Followed by the council meeting at 6.
Someone making that a motion?
Shonda.
Chandra.
Well, I said I'd call for one.
I second it.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Okay.
Well done, everybody.
We are adjourned.
So Charlie, can you send out any information again?
I will. If I get any information,
Well,
I'll let
hopefully
you
you'll
know.
get that.
I will be.
I know. I know. It didn't take you that long. Have fun at your cabin.